Calix Boxing here. Hit that sub button for nightly boxing videos. I was trying to figure something out, because over the past couple of nights I was just trying to. I love just sitting back and observing people, and I just like outside of this. I people are surprised when they find out that I have this channel and I do this because I don't talk much. I'm not a very talkative person, but so I like naturally I like just observing, and I was sitting back and observing over the past couple of nights after the Chocolatito fight why certain guys on here and a lot of guys on social media who I perceive to be Flomos, and we all know the Flomos, all Floyd, all day, everything Floyd, um, anything that comes in threat of Floyd is seen as an enemy. It doesn't matter. You can't like both. You can't like Floyd and Manny to them. That's a sin. That's a cardinal sin. You can't like both. You just can't. Anything that comes in threat to him is just something that needs to be destroyed. Now, I'm sitting back and I'm like, why is it that all of these guys who I perceive to be Flomos had Quadras winning the fight? And why is it that all of these guys seem to be anti Chocolatito all of a sudden now that they've discovered him and now that he's perceived to be a pound for pound titleist? Why is this? And then I figured it out. I was like, wait, they're Flomos. Wait a second. This guy's 46-0. Floyd's 49-0. That O has to go. That's, dude, Flomos, all they're worried about is that number on the right hand column. That's all they're worried about. That O. If Floyd would ever get a one in that right hand column, their life would come crumbling down. Like their existence as we know it would just come crumbling down. And I mean they look at everything as just that right hand column. So when they look at Chocolatito 46-0, they say, wait a second. Floyd's 49-0, Chocolatito's 46-0. Three more fights, he's tied with our God. Three more fights. And people can say all of a sudden that he's as good as Floyd. Because that's how they look at everything. They look at everything as just that record. They don't look at, okay, you fought this guy, this guy, this guy. So even if you lost this fight, since you fought that guy and this guy didn't fight that guy, they don't look at it that deep. They just look at 49-0. And they see 49-0 as the record. And if Floyd gets one more, he's the greatest fighter ever because he's 50-0, and no fighter ever has been 50-0, even though there has been fighters who have been 50-0. Don't tell them that because breaking that to them, that might once again it might destroy them. They might go home and end it. They might go home and drown themselves or slit their wrists if you tell them that there have actually been fighters who have been 50-0. But how they look at it as Chocolatito is three fights away from being as good as our God. It was actually funny when I had a eureka moment. I was trying to figure this out. Like why are some people being so tough on Chocolatito all of a sudden, and why? Oh, all the Flomos picked Quadras. All the Flomos had Quadras winning the fight. And it would be hysterical if all of a sudden Chocolatito started doing low risk, high reward and just started picking off some easy fights just to rack up some W's and go to like 55-0. Their heads would explode. They would every fight they'd be commenting, "Oh, look at him! He's fighting the easy fight. He's not fighting the best." It was like, "Oh, oh, really? You're the one to comment on that?" I was trying to figure this out. I was like, wait a second. There are people in here being really tough on Chocolatito. He's all of a sudden number one pound for pound in a lot of people's eyes, and he's 46-0. And I was like, wait a second. These are Flomos. Of course. In their eyes, he's only 3 fights from matching their God. Oh man, I feel so bad for him.